Hello everyone, this is Elizabeth from the Giles County Public Library. Some of you might know me as one of the front desk librarians. Others of you might know me as the Teen Services librarian. But today I'm here to talk a little bit about a program we've all started to kind of use in our library programming, but also you might be familiar with or not familiar with, Zoom. Zoom is a program that we've kind of adapted to because of the needs to reach out to folks during these times of pandemic and social distancing. And today I just want to talk to you a little bit about it, how it works, and how you can use it to improve your everyday life and see others that you might not get to see during this time, and also maybe use it for your business or professional development. This is a little bit of a cartoon here that I've put in order to show kind of a little funny phenomenon people might be familiar with if they've used Zoom before. This gentleman has what we call Zoom face because he's kind of gotten used to putting his best foot forward, or his best face forward rather, in his Zoom meeting. Now, what is Zoom? Really, according to the Business Insider, which really just sums it up, Zoom is a cloud-based video communications app that allows you to set up virtual video and audio conferencing, webinars, live chat, screen sharing, and other collaborative capabilities. You might have heard of things that are similar to this before. Skype, Google Hangouts, even FaceTime has some similar qualities to Zoom. But people like Zoom because it is very lightweight, that most devices can handle the program. You can put it on your phone or your tablet, and it is becoming more and more ubiquitous and more useful to many different people and many different situations. Now, many churches, businesses, social groups, schools, and community programs are using Zoom right now to reach out to others and have fun, and also just to communicate. How does Zoom work? The shortest answer is it works very simply. Like I mentioned before, Zoom is a cloud, aka internet-based conference app. What this means is that you may use Zoom entirely within your browser, which for you might be Firefox or Chrome or Edge or Safari, without needing to download a program or an app. However, should you choose to, you can get a client downloaded onto your computer or device. You don't need to create an account to simply join a Zoom meeting that someone else is hosting. However, if you're hosting, you're going to want to create an account in order to have links that you can provide to other people to join your Zoom meeting. As of making this, which is January, Zoom is offering 4 tiers for purchase. We're primarily going to focus on the basic and pro tiers because that is what patrons are generally going to be needing for their activities on Zoom. The basic or free tier, you can have as many one-on-one meetings as you'd like for as long as you need. But should you need to have more people in your meeting, like say you want to host 3 or more, you will be capped to a 40-minute time limit. Generally, this is not going to be an issue, but should you need a longer time frame, you might want to go up to the next setting, which is the Pro tier. The Pro tier is $14.99 per month. Again, this is as of this making, and it's for those who need a more robust set of tools and a virtually unlimited time block up to 24 hours. And also you get some convenient features like being able to save your meeting to the cloud, save a recording. So if you should need that for future reference, you will be able to acquire a downloaded version of your meeting. Both the Basic and Pro have Secure Socket Layer, or SSL Encryption, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Now, who uses Zoom? And what uses does it have? Why should I use Zoom? Well, we've become more and more reliance on alternative ways to communicate with each other and how to hold meetings and things that we used to have in person virtually, and Zoom essentially will help us do that. We've seen more and more businesses, organizations, and plain regular folks use Zoom due to the necessity of keeping in contact. So it is a very useful tool to have for that. As you can see, many churches have begun to use Zoom as well as children for educational purposes and also communicating with loved ones. As a bit of a personal testimony, I suppose, to Zoom, is that we have been able to move a lot of our teen activities to Zoom here at the library, which I did not know would go over as well as it has, especially our tabletop club in which we play board games, role-playing games. It was a previously in-person program, however, it has now become entirely Zoomed based, and it is very popular. And it was a lot easier moving over to Zoom than I thought it would be. Probably the biggest question after what is Zoom is Zoom safe? Because unfortunately, we've heard of some folks getting on Zoom meetings, acting in bad faith, showing inappropriate images, or saying things that might be harmful or hurtful to those in attendance. However unfortunate these events are, they are not incredibly prominent nowadays, as Zoom has taken steps to help avoid them, and they are also very, very preventable. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can prevent them and how Zoom itself is trying to prevent them. I had mentioned earlier about SSL encryption, and I'm going to explain a little bit about that. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty of that because it's not really relevant to most people's purposes. As you can see, I've inserted a graphic here talking about the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. You might have noticed that yourself in your browsing of the internet and different purposes that you would get on the computer for. You might see that some websites have an HTTP at the beginning and some have an HTTPS. Essentially what that means is that the HTTPS has an extra layer of encryption and security. That just means that someone cannot eavesdrop or virtually eavesdrop on your information that you might send over the connection, such as a password, a personal information, your credit card number, anything that you might use on the internet. If that extra layer of encryption is there, it is going to obscure whatever information that you're sending, thus making it more secure and harder for hackers or people with other ill intent to join. You, as a responsible Zoom user, however, can also help negate any problems that you might have using Zoom or attending Zoom with others. And all you need to do is take a few common sense tips and tricks and put them in your bag and remember them for your Zoom uses. We're going to talk about that. Okay, these are just some Zoom safety tips, and if you turn these on and off, and I'll tell you a little bit about these features, you will feel a little more confident in your Zoom use. Now, if you are hosting, you want to make sure that join before host is turned off. Essentially, this means that you are going to make sure that people cannot enter the meeting before you do, and that's just good policy. I mean, you wouldn't want to hold a party and then have people come into your house before you are even at your house. It's just a good idea. Make sure that mute participant upon entry is turned on as well. That means that people cannot come in and begin screaming, making loud noises, or saying things that might hurt or harm other people. Make sure that the private chat and file transfers are turned off. That's just to make sure that people can't say hurtful things to others in the private chat, and they can't send any files that might have viruses or other dangerous material. You want to allow hosts to put attendee on hold is on, and you want to make sure that that feature is used, because that will allow you to have a degree of control over those who have entered the room with you. Make sure that screen sharing is set for host only. Again, that is just good policy that only the person who is hosting can share their screen, and they will not be showing any kind of inappropriate material. Make sure that annotation, remote control, and allowing removed participants to rejoin is all off, especially that last one there. That way, if you remove someone from the room for inappropriate behavior, or you don't want them in your Zoom room, they will not be able to rejoin. But the biggest tip that I can give to anybody who's hosting a Zoom, or just to pass on to anybody who might know someone who does a lot of Zoom, is to have a waiting room and turn it on. Because basically a waiting room is just a queue where people, as they join the Zoom room, have to be basically vetted and approved to be admitted. So it allows the host to manually approve attendance and vet them before they come into the room. I cannot recommend that enough. That way you only allow people that you have invited or people that you know into your room. Okay, this is another cute picture here, but another question that a lot of people have about Zoom is, do I have to get on camera? No, you do not have to get on camera. I promise you it's okay if you don't want to get on camera. You can turn the camera off, but you can still see everyone else, should you choose to do so. And if you choose to use just your voice, that's fine as well. It's more than acceptable. Again, things like Skype have used this before in the past. It's not necessarily new technology, but I just wanted to put that out there and make sure that everyone knew that should you choose to, you don't have to get on camera. Now, here is a little bit of information to keep in mind should you want to get on camera. First impressions are important, and you want to always put your best foot forward. So just treat Zoom like any other meeting or event that you might have in person. We'll talk about a little common sense tips and tricks here. So as an in-person meeting, same thing with Zoom. You want to look professional and appropriate. If you wouldn't want to be seen in it in person, don't wear it on Zoom. And make sure that you keep your eyes directly on the camera as much as possible. It's like eye contact, and we know that that's extremely important. So it makes you seem more personable, and it makes the call much more connected. Lighting is key. If you sit in a dark area, the camera on your computer or tablet or a phone, if you're using a phone, it will not film in good quality. You'll look very pixelated and unlit. The natural light often satisfies any requirement that there might have. So don't feel like you have to go out and buy a professional grade camera or high impact lighting like you might see on Hollywood sets or on YouTube. Just use natural light and it will probably look good. Should you need to get up and attend any business off camera, I would recommend turning the camera feed off. You might want to turn the microphone off as well if you predict a distracting amount of background noise. So if your dog is running through the room, you have a small child that needs to be attended to, anything like that. You want to inform others in your home and office that you intend to be on a Zoom call and that they should limit interruptions as much as possible. That's basically, again, it's just good etiquette. That way there won't be any distractions. Make sure that the area behind you is clean and clear of clutter. Again, I'm not saying that you need to go out and buy a fancy backdrop or anything of that sort. You just need to have an area behind you that's not distracting and won't bother your fellow Zoom users. If you're not speaking, consider muting yourself. This will allow full attention on the host or whoever else might be speaking at the time. Again, just good good politeness and good common sense. But most importantly, you need to be mindful of others in attendance. If it's a conference call style meeting, you might want to be aware that there is a possibility you might talk over each other. It's natural the first few times without being able to view people's body language that you're probably going to talk over each other, but you'll get it the more that you do it. Okay, here's the real meat and potatoes, I suppose, of this presentation is about signing up for Zoom, how to use it for the first time, and that good stuff. So how to sign up for the first time, you're going to go to the zoom.us page. I've inserted a screenshot here, and basically you're going to find the sign up in the right corner. This says enter your school email address, but it doesn't have to be a school email address. It can be a Gmail address, a Yahoo address, any email address that you have. So you're going to put in your email address and hit the sign up button. Then you're going to want to go into your email, so be it your Gmail inbox, your Yahoo inbox, your iCloud inbox, anything like that. You're going to want to see that you have received the activation email from Zoom, and you're going to want to activate your account. From that, you will be redirected to a page that is essentially a welcome page. It will have a place to put your first name, last name, and create your passwords. As usual, it's good to remember good password hygiene, not use the same password that you have used in other places, and if you'd like, you can use a password manager, or you can write your password down in a safe place. However, you just need to use a password that is safe and secure. Should you like to invite anybody else, whether it be administrators or staff members in your organization or family members or anyone, you can enter their email address and select the I am not a robot checkbox. Otherwise, you can just skip that step. And from that point, you have created your Zoom account and you're good to go. However, what if you want to create a Zoom account and download it then to your device or to your computer? Okay, you are going to want to download the Zoom client. The client is just another word for the program. So what you're going to do is you are going to find the Zoom client download button on the page, and to do that you can go to zoom.us/download, and there's going to be a blue download button under the Zoom client for meetings to install the installer. And then you're going to open the Zoom installer from your downloads folder and follow the on-screen steps to set up your Zoom client. You can also do this on your smartphone by either going to the Google Play Store or going to the Apple Store and downloading the Zoom client from there. Again, it is a very simple process. All you'll need to do is go through the steps on these prompts on screen and put in your information. Now, how do I join a Zoom meeting that someone is having? There are two options, and you might come into contact with either of these options out in the wild, so we're going to go after them. And actually, there's a third option down there too that I did not see, and I apologize for that. But so we're going to go over three options, and the first option is join via meeting URL, so that someone is going to send you a link in your email or through Messenger. Perhaps it's on your calendar app. So basically all you're going to do is just open the email, newsletter, calendar, invite, or any other communication that contains the link. You're going to click on the link and you will automatically be opened into Zoom, where you can be in the waiting room should somebody have set that up. Option number 2, if you have the desktop client, all you need is the meeting ID. So what you're going to do is you're going to open the Zoom desktop app, click on the home button, and then click join and type in the provided meeting ID and your name. So say someone gave you a meeting ID number and it was 1256. You would open your client, you would go home, and then you would join the meeting using that big button that has the plus sign on it, and you would type in the 1256 code. Now, option number 3 is to join using the web client or browser. So this is where you can use the browser option should you not have the downloaded application. By default, the users will now need to sign into their Zoom account or create a Zoom account when joining a meeting with the web client. Should you have a different situation, that can apply. However, generally now they are wanting you to make a account, but you already know how to make an account because we told you how to. So you're one step ahead of the game there. All right, these are a few little highlights to when you're using the Zoom client and the Zoom app that you might want to make yourself familiar with. And I'm just going to run through them, and you can later on, if you'd like, you can come back and look at them and see the shortcuts. Okay, if you see the little microphone in the corner under number 1, that is how you mute or unmute your audio. Not necessarily the audio of the participants. If you are someone who's not in charge, if you're not a host, you will not be able to mute your fellow participants. However, you can mute yourself if you are a participant and not a host. If you see the camera there that looks like a movie camera, that's how you stop and start your video. At any time, if you feel like you want to start your video back up or stop your video, that is what you hit. Number 3 is settings. Settings is something you probably won't use very often. However, if for some reason you need to change your camera quality or change input, output, anything like that, that is where you can go. Number 4, where you see the person with the plus sign next to it, that is how you invite more people to join by email, IM, and SMS if you're on mobile, or if you just want to have the meeting ID that you can send through other means, smoke signals, carrier pigeons, that kind of thing. You can get the information there. Number 5 is a list of participants. If you want to see everybody who's in the room, that is the button that you click. Number 6 is, previously we had talked about sharing your desktop. Generally, this will not be able to be used because the host might have turned it off. However, if you're in like a business meeting or some meeting where you need to be collaborative, this is where you can share your desktop, which can be everything that you have open, or select a specific application to share. Say if you had Microsoft Word open or Excel or something of that nature, you could show off what you're working on and share that with others. Number 7 is a little speech bubble with some dots in it, and that is where you can send a message to one person, so that's a private chat, or to all participants. Zoom also has a text-based chat option that you can toggle on and off should you choose to. Some people use this, some people do not. That is just for your own personal use. Number 8 is to record the meeting if you've been granted permission, or if you're able to do that with the paid tier that you're using. Sometimes the host will have the ability to delegate that to someone else. So if you are the designated recorder, you could be able to record. If not, that's not something you need to worry about. Number 9 is another important feature, probably one of the more important features. That is where you can, of course, leave or end the video meeting. If you are the host, you will be ending the meeting, and that will end it for everyone. However, if you're just an attendee, you can leave, and only you will leave the chat or the room. Okay, this slide is not super exciting. However, it is my sources that I used. If for some reason you want to go to any of these sources and learn some more information, I will try to make sure that this is in the description of the video. Maybe I will upload a PDF of this whole presentation so that you guys can come back and look at it at your own speed and come back and get some good information. Alright, do you have any further questions or comments? I would love to hear them. You can call the library at 931-363-2720. Ask for Elizabeth if you are particularly interested in my take on Zoom. I'm not an expert by any means. However, I feel like I've kind of used it a lot at this point. So if you're feeling like that you're not so confident, you'd like to set up an appointment to talk one-on-one or anything like that, or you just like me to help you set up some Zoom meetings or get your account set up, I would love to do that. You can also email us. Again, just make sure that you include my name somewhere in the subject so I'll know how to get back in touch with you. It's glibrary@gilescountylibrary.org. Once again, my name is Elizabeth Roller. I'm Youth Services and Front Desk. I believe there's going to be a survey link somewhere here. If you would not mind filling that out, we would greatly appreciate that. And I hope that you have enjoyed this little short Zoom training. Thank you for letting me come into your home or wherever you're watching this, and I hope that it has been helpful. Thank you. Bye.